I saw House at the End of the Street. The Hunger Games' Jennifer Lawrence plays Alyssa. She's a teenager whose parents recently divorced. Haven't they all? Alyssa's mom, Sarah, is played by Elizabeth Shue from Adventures in Babysitting. That's right. I referenced a movie from like 20-some years ago.
More than that.
They find the house of their dreams in a tiny little rural town. Problem is, the only reason they can afford it is because the little girl next door brutally murdered her parents a few years earlier and then disappeared in the woods, because that's normal. Alyssa ends up meeting the young girl's brother, Ryan, played by Max Thieriot, who still lives in that house because apparently he's got some issues. Despite everyone thinking he's a crazy-looking man with a crazy-looking family, he still sticks around in this stupid town. So, of course, she falls for him because who wouldn't love a dorky-looking dude with that kind of history? You know, the bad boy syndrome. And, of course, Mom doesn't like it much, so, you know, because she's normal and she knows that crazy might be genetic. She worries about it. If you see the trailer, you know Ryan may or may not be hiding that crazy sister of his in the basement. I'm not going to spoil if he is or not, but you kind of get the impression that he might be. Bad things start happening. Alyssa has to find out what the frack is going on with her new boyfriend, and is that little sister still around? Okay. The story's friggin' generic. I mean, just reading that, and I wrote all that, and I still just hated reading it because it's so generic. A lot of the movie is pretty generic. And you can tell a lot of it a mile away, but there are a few decent little twists here and there. Though it didn't always 100% work, I appreciated that the director, Mark Tonderi, gave the characters at least time to get established in the relationship. So from the very beginning of the movie, you've got about 45 minutes before anything really starts happening because they're really establishing the history and what's going on. I think they could have tightened that up a little bit, but I did appreciate that you actually have characters you grow to care about as opposed to they just smack them in this situation and wonder what's going to happen. So... But unfortunately, the first half of the movie is a little slow, but it did make me care a little bit more for the ending. Jennifer Lawrence actually plays a normal teenager for once. There's nothing special. She doesn't have to fight to save her life with a group of 11 other kids. She's not starving, trying to support her family. She's just a normal teen, bitchy with her mom, et cetera, et cetera. I don't think anything really impressed me with her in this movie, other than the fact that she runs around in a really tight white tank top a lot. But she was basically John Hughes Teen 101. She did her job. Nothing exceptional. I mean, other than a T-shirt, that was actually pretty good.
I get made fun of for making comments like that, but it's fair game when you do it. It's all good.
Sorry. Maybe I can compare Jennifer Lawrence to a video game. Let me think.
So much for that. So much for the feminism conversation we had a couple of weeks ago.
Elizabeth Shue did a nice job playing a bad mom trying to do better. I actually like seeing that. She admits being a bad mother most of Jennifer Lawrence's life. So it was kind of nice to see a mom portrayed that way as opposed to, I've always been a wonderful mother and I love you, blah, 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 blah. That was nice. But it was really weird seeing her as a mom of an adult kid because I remember her in Adventures in Babysitting and I don't appreciate her being an old woman. That really makes me sad. So, but Max...
Cocktail, where she's kind of college age.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to go watch that just so I can remember. And Max Thieriot, he did a nice job keeping you guessing what his deal really is, and as well as portraying someone who you can tell is a little bit more messed up than he appears to be. But I want to stress, this is not a horror movie. If you watch the trailer, you think it's going to be a horror movie. It's not at all. It's marketed that way. This is totally just a thriller, and it's a pretty light thriller. I don't think it really becomes a thriller until the last half hour. So if you're going in expecting to be scared and freaked out, nothing about this movie is going to make you feel that way. It's very much just a tense thriller. Never do you see cats jumping out or anything like that. Overall, it's totally by the numbers thriller. I think it still manages to be pretty entertaining, despite some cliches hitting you in the face every which way but loose. But there is a clever little twist in the film that I actually appreciated and that I didn't see coming, so that gets a nice little bump for me. So $10 is the full price of admission. House at the End of the Street gets $5.50.